What if I told you there's a simple, inexpensive powder that could dramatically reshape your later years? Not just helping you shrink stubborn fat and build real muscle, but also calming the constant fires of inflammation burning inside your body, all without any complicated routines or expensive programs? Imagine discovering something so profoundly effective, so well-studied and safe, that scientists keep unearthing new, incredible benefits years after its initial rise to prominence. This isn't some rare, exotic ingredient or a secret known only to professional athletes. It's a tool almost anyone can use, and for those of us over 60, its effects can be nothing short of truly transformative, offering a tangible path to retaining your strength, sharp mind, and independence. Now, let's be clear, I'm not here to push the latest fad or promise some magical overnight cure. My purpose is to share proven science, to explore what actually works, and to equip you with reliable, tested information that can help you stay robust, clear-headed, and vibrantly active as you continue to embrace life. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most powerful, yet surprisingly misunderstood supplements available, creatine. We're going to thoroughly break down exactly how it works, the smartest ways to incorporate it into your daily life, and why just a small daily amount, typically between 5 and 7 grams, can create such a profound and positive difference in your overall well-being. So, let's begin with a crucial question. Why does this information become even more critical as we gracefully age? Why should you, at 65, 70, or even beyond, pay close attention to a powder often mistakenly associated with only young gym enthusiasts? The answer directly addresses 3 fundamental challenges that almost every one of us encounters as the years gently accumulate: the insidious creep of rising inflammation, the noticeable slowdown of our metabolism, and the often unspoken decline in muscle mass. These aren't merely minor inconveniences. They form the very foundation of persistent fatigue, a sense of growing weakness, stubborn weight gain that seems impossible to budge, and recovery times that feel endlessly drawn out. And here's the truly remarkable part. Creatine directly intervenes in and addresses all 3 of these age-related issues. It's almost like flipping a biological switch that firmly declares, yes, we can still be strong. Yes, we can still recover quickly. Yes, we can still truly thrive. Consider inflammation for a moment, a term we hear frequently but perhaps don't fully grasp. At its core, inflammation is your body's natural and essential response to injury or stress. However, when it becomes chronic, a low-level simmering fire constantly burning just beneath the surface, it significantly contributes to nagging joint pain, elevates the risk of heart disease, can impair cognitive function, and creates a pervasive, general feeling of being perpetually worn down. As we age, our bodies unfortunately tend to produce more of these inflammatory signals, even when we're not actually sick or injured. It's akin to having a fire alarm that simply won't turn off, and that constant, irritating noise inevitably exhausts us. Now, compound that with a naturally slowing metabolism. The number of calories your body efficiently burns at rest gradually diminishes over time. Your cells don't produce energy with the same youthful efficiency. You might notice that you can no longer eat quite the way you used to without inevitably gaining weight, or that you feel tired more often even when you haven't exerted yourself particularly strenuously. And finally, there's sarcopenia, the gradual and often insidious loss of precious muscle mass that typically begins in our 30s and then noticeably accelerates in our 60s and subsequent decades. Less muscle directly translates to less strength, diminished balance, and ultimately a significant erosion of personal independence. It heightens your risk of dangerous falls, painful fractures, and often leads to the heartbreaking forfeiture of cherished activities we deeply love. So, when I tell you that creatine actively addresses chronic inflammation, robustly supports a healthier metabolism, and directly helps both build and preserve vital muscle, I am emphatically not talking about superficial vanity. I am speaking about the profound core of your quality of life. I am talking about the sheer joy of being able to effortlessly play with your grandchildren, the simple dignity of carrying your own groceries without struggle, the freedom to travel without debilitating exhaustion, and the profound liberty that accompanies a body that continues to function powerfully and reliably. Before we delve further into its incredible benefits, let's quickly and decisively clear up the common confusion and dispel the prevalent myths. What exactly is creatine, and why is there so much noise and baseless speculation surrounding it? Here is the undeniable truth. Creatine is not a steroid. It is not some risky, experimental powder concocted in a clandestine laboratory. Creatine is, in fact, a naturally occurring compound that your body already produces within your liver and kidneys, and it's primarily stored right there in your muscles. Its fundamental role is to help produce ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is quite literally the energy currency of every single cell in your body. When your muscles contract, when your brain rapidly fires off signals, when your heart reliably beats, ATP is the essential fuel that powers it at all, and creatine helps your body regenerate this crucial ATP much faster, particularly during those short bursts of intense activity that define much of our daily movement. Now, the most effective and extensively researched form, by a significant margin, is known as creatine monohydrate. It has been thoroughly studied for decades, it is remarkably inexpensive, and it is exceptionally safe. And despite what some aggressive supplement companies might try to persuade you of, more expensive, fancier forms like creatine hydrochloride or creatine ethyl ester are demonstrably not better. Study after study consistently reveals that plain, old-fashioned monohydrate works just as well, if not often superiorly, to these pricier alternatives. So please, save your hard-earned money and stick with what has been unequivocally proven to work. Here's something truly interesting that more recent research has brought to light. How you take creatine matters almost as much as simply taking it at all. You see, creatine is transported into your muscle cells by a very specific protein called SLC6A8. And critically, this vital transporter absolutely depends on sodium. That's right, simple salt. When you combine your creatine with just a small pinch of salt or with an electrolyte drink, studies compellingly suggest that your muscles can absorb between 40% and 50% more creatine compared to taking it on its own. Why such a significant difference? Because if your sodium levels are low, the creatine doesn't get efficiently shuttled into the muscle cells. Instead, it tends to linger in the space surrounding the cells, known as the extracellular fluid, and that's when you might notice the uncomfortable puffiness or water retention that some people mistakenly complain about. So if you've ever felt bloated when taking creatine, it might not be because you're consuming too much. It's far more likely because you're not taking it with enough sodium to actually help your body effectively utilize it. There's also another intriguing piece to this puzzle that's just beginning to gain scientific clarity. A compound called GAA, or guanidino acetate, which is the precursor your body naturally uses to create creatine. Some emerging research now suggests that combining GAA with creatine might help it more effectively cross the protective blood-brain barrier, which could unlock an entirely new world of cognitive benefits we'll soon discuss. But for now, simply understand that the precise way you consume creatine, with a touch of salt, possibly with GAA, and consistently every single day, can profoundly alter how well it truly works for you. So, once it's efficiently inside your muscles, what does creatine actually do? Let's delve into the muscle effect, because this is where the story becomes truly exciting, particularly for older adults focused on maintaining their vitality. Numerous studies, including a comprehensive review from mid-2024, examined individuals under 50 who were consistently engaging in resistance training. On average, those who took creatine gained an impressive 2.5 pounds more of lean muscle compared to their counterparts who trained without it. But here's the unexpected and very significant kicker. They also lost approximately 1.5 pounds of fat. Let me repeat that because it's so critical. Creatine didn't just help participants build muscle, it simultaneously helped them shed unwanted fat. While researchers are still meticulously working to understand the exact mechanisms behind this dual benefit, it could be linked to reduced inflammation, which in turn might allow fat cells to break down and burn more efficiently. It could also be that a higher overall muscle mass naturally increases your resting metabolic rate, meaning you burn more calories even when you're simply sitting still. Or it could be an entirely different, complex interplay of factors. But the undeniable point is that this isn't solely about achieving a more toned physique. It's about fundamentally changing your body composition in a way that inherently supports better overall health, enhanced mobility, and superior metabolic function. When we look at tangible strength gains, the data is equally compelling. An extensive analysis from late 2023, reviewing over 20 diverse studies, found that individuals taking creatine could, on average, lift approximately 10 pounds more with their upper body across various exercises, and an even more remarkable 25 pounds more with their lower body. While these are averages and your individual results will certainly vary, truly reflect on what this signifies in profoundly practical terms for your daily life. If you're someone who increasingly struggles to rise confidently from a chair, or who finds navigating stairs an exhausting ordeal, or who genuinely worries about carrying a heavy bag of groceries from the car to the kitchen, even a modest and consistent increase in strength can be absolutely life-changing, restoring precious independence. What's particularly fascinating is creatine's seemingly greater impact on the lower body compared to the upper body. Why this disparity? It could be that the larger muscle groups in your legs, glutes, and hips possess more creatine transporters, or perhaps they simply respond more robustly to the significant energy boost that creatine so readily provides. sides. Either way, if your personal goal is to cultivate stronger legs, significantly improve your balance, or critically reduce your risk of debilitating falls, creatine stands out as an incredibly powerful and accessible tool. So, how much should you truly take? And does the timing of your dose significantly matter? The science surrounding these questions has, in recent years, evolved quite a bit. For a long time, the standard and widespread recommendation was 5 grams daily. While that remains a solid and effective baseline, newer research strongly suggests that 7 grams might actually be closer to the optimal sweet spot for a broader range of individuals, especially if your primary goal is to actively maximize muscle growth and functional strength. If your focus is specifically on strengthening your lower body, perhaps you're dedicated to squats, lunges, leg presses, or simply aiming to walk more robustly, a consistent daily dose of around 7 grams appears to yield the best results. Now, if your ambition leans more towards building formidable upper body strength, maybe you want to improve your capacity to lift objects overhead, comfortably carry heavy bags, or perform push-ups with greater ease. There is some compelling evidence suggesting that a loading phase might give you accelerated results. A loading phase typically involves consuming a higher dose, around 20 grams per day, split into smaller amounts taken throughout the day for approximately 5 to 7 days. Following this initial period, you then revert to a maintenance dose of about 5 to 7 grams. This strategic approach seems to more rapidly saturate the creatine stores specifically in your upper body muscles, which could explain why some individuals report faster, more noticeable gains in their chest, shoulders, and arms. However, here's an important reality check. If you're older, your creatine transporters might not operate quite as efficiently as they did in your younger years. This absolutely doesn't mean creatine won't work for you. It simply suggests you might require a slightly higher dose to achieve the same significant saturation. Some leading experts now recommend that individuals over 50 seriously consider taking anywhere from 10 to 15 grams per day, particularly if they lead a very active lifestyle or are actively contending with noticeable muscle loss. While that might sound like a substantial amount, remember that creatine remains one of the most rigorously studied and safest supplements currently available. The associated risk is remarkably minimal, while the potential benefits are undeniably enormous. As for optimal timing, honestly, it matters far less than you might initially believe. For years, people meticulously obsessed over whether to take creatine immediately before or after a workout. The truth, reinforced by extensive research, is that unwavering consistency is monumentally more important than precise timing. Your muscles steadily store creatine over time, so as long as you are diligently taking it every single day, you are consistently building up those crucial stores and consistently reaping its myriad benefits. Some prefer to take it with a meal, others with a protein shake, and many simply mix it into water with that beneficial pinch of salt. Find what seamlessly integrates into your routine and simply stick with it. Creatine, however, extends its reach far beyond merely building muscle and enhancing strength. It also exerts profound effects on your entire metabolism and recovery process, a facet that is often critically overlooked. A comprehensive review published in 2023 meticulously examined both anaerobic exercise, activities like weightlifting and sprinting, and aerobic exercise, activities such as walking, cycling, and swimming. What truly surprised many researchers was that creatine demonstrably improved performance in both categories. You might logically be thinking, wait, I thought creatine was exclusively for short explosive movements. Why would it possibly help with endurance? This is an excellent question. It turns out that creatine accomplishes much more than just rapidly regenerating ATP. It significantly reduces systemic inflammation throughout your entire body. It effectively mitigates oxidative stress, which is the cellular damage caused by harmful free radicals. It dramatically improves what is termed acid buffering, helping your muscles efficiently clear out lactic acid and other metabolic waste products that typically leave you feeling intensely sore and fatigued. And critically, it accelerates glycogen replenishment, meaning the carbohydrates you consume are stored much more efficiently in your muscles and liver, priming them and making them readily available to fuel your very next activity. All of these powerful effects culminate in vastly improved recovery. And better recovery unequivocally means you can do more often, without experiencing that overwhelming sense of being completely wiped out. Whether you're someone who regularly lifts weights, someone who enjoys a brisk walk every morning, or simply someone who desires to feel less utterly exhausted at the close of the day, creatine offers genuine, tangible help. It's akin to upgrading your body with a more efficient engine, not just providing more raw power, but ensuring smoother operation, significantly less waste production, and noticeably faster repair. Here's another particularly noteworthy point. Women might actually need more creatine than men. Now, this might initially seem counterintuitive, especially given all the outdated myths about women avoiding creatine due to unfounded fears of bulking up or retaining water. However, recent scientific research has convincingly shown that women naturally store approximately 10% more creatine in their muscles at baseline compared to men. Despite this higher storage capacity, their bodies inherently produce anywhere between 70% and 80% less creatine endogenously, that is, on their own. Therefore, women begin with a greater potential storage capacity but manufacture considerably less creatine naturally, which directly implies they need to acquire more from their diet or through supplementation to adequately fill those important stores. The practical, actionable takeaway for women: consider taking about 10% to 20% more creatine than the standard recommendations. So, instead of 7 grams, you might effectively aim for 8 or 9 grams. And if you consistently take it with a little bit of sodium, as we previously discussed, you'll actively avoid any bloated sensation and genuinely ensure the creatine reaches exactly where it needs to go, deep into your muscles, not merely floating around uselessly in the extracellular fluid. Now, let's smoothly shift gears and discuss something that might genuinely surprise you even more: what creatine profoundly does for your brain. We've dedicated considerable time discussing its undeniable benefits for muscles, metabolism, and raw strength, but some of the most groundbreaking and exciting research over the last few years has focused squarely on creatine's remarkable effects on cognitive function, memory recall, overall mood stability, and mental resilience. And quite frankly, for those of us passionately committed to staying exceptionally sharp and mentally engaged as we gracefully age, this might very well be the single most crucial component of our entire conversation. Your brain, much like your muscles, operates critically on ATP. In fact, your brain stands as one of the most energetically demanding organs in your entire body, consuming up to an astonishing 20% of your total energy even when you're completely at rest. And just like your muscles, your brain intelligently stores creatine, or more specifically, a specialized compound called phosphocreatine, which plays a vital role in rapidly regenerating ATP precisely when you need to think with lightning speed, concentrate with intense focus, or adeptly process complex streams of information. When you consistently supplement with creatine, you effectively increase these phosphocreatine stores within your brain, and this subtle yet powerful change fundamentally alters the entire energy dynamics of how your brain operates, making it vastly more efficient. Think of it this way: your brain typically runs on a sophisticated mix of glucose and other essential fuels. When cognitive demand sharply spikes, say when you're intently trying to solve a challenging problem, recall a specific name, or concentrate on a lively conversation in a noisy, distracting environment, your brain absolutely needs to produce ATP at a rapid pace. If your phosphocreatine stores are low, that critical process undeniably slows down. You might then experience a pervasive mental fogginess, forgetfulness, or an overwhelming sense of mental exhaustion. However, when those vital stores are consistently topped up through smart supplementation, your brain gains instantaneous, direct access to immediate energy. It's like switching from a dim, flickering light bulb to a steady, intensely bright beam that illuminates every thought. A compelling study from 2022 unequivocally demonstrated that just 5 grams of creatine per day significantly and remarkably improved memory, especially in individuals over 65. We are talking about the profound difference of being able to recall names, dates, and intricate details with far greater ease, of being able to effortlessly follow complex conversations without getting lost, of being able to firmly hold on to important information without the frustrating sensation of it constantly slipping through your fingers. But the benefits extend even deeper than mere recall. Research has also convincingly shown that creatine effectively reduces oxidative stress within the brain, which is recognized as one of the primary architects of cognitive decline and various neurodegenerative diseases. It strategically increases the amount of vital oxygen delivered to your precious brain cells, which enables them to function far more efficiently and significantly enhances their resistance to damage. And crucially, it substantially reduces what is commonly called brain fatigue, that heavy, utterly exhausted feeling you get after a prolonged day of intensive thinking, reading, or focused concentration. If you're someone who actively works, consistently volunteers, expertly manages a household, or simply yearns to stay mentally engaged and vibrant, creatine can truly help you maintain that essential mental stamina and keep your cognitive edge razor sharp for years to come. In fact, a particular study had participants taking around 8 grams of creatine per day, and they unequivocally reported experiencing less mental fatigue and maintaining better, sustained focus throughout their entire day. Now, if you find yourself navigating a particularly demanding period, perhaps you're traveling extensively, overseeing a major project, actively assisting in the care of a beloved family member, or simply coping with a heightened level of pervasive stress, you might even judiciously consider temporarily increasing that dose to 8 or even 10 grams to provide your brain with the precise extra support it so urgently needs. And here's where things become truly captivating and offer hope. A study conducted in recent years recruited individuals who were profoundly sleep-deprived. I'm referring to that crushing kind of exhaustion where you can barely string a thought together, where your judgment is severely compromised, and where you feel perpetually irritable and utterly foggy. They administered around 20 grams of creatine per day for approximately 1 week. While that is indeed a higher dose than most individuals regularly consume, the documented results were absolutely remarkable. These severely sleep-deprived participants experienced their executive function, critical abilities like sound decision-making, effective problem-solving, strategic planning, and crucial impulse control restored almost to completely normal levels. Their brains, in essence, came back fully online, operating with a renewed clarity. And not only that, their mood also significantly improved. They reported feeling notably less grumpy, less overwhelmingly stressed, and far less trapped by a world that once felt perpetually closing in on them. Now, let's be clear. I am not suggesting creatine is a magical substitute for adequate, restful sleep. Absolutely nothing can truly replace proper rest. However, if you are currently navigating a challenging period where restful sleep is simply hard to come by, perhaps you're dealing with persistent insomnia, crossing multiple time zones while traveling, or selflessly caring for someone throughout the night, creatine can undeniably help you weather that storm with far greater resilience and significantly less long-term cognitive damage. This naturally leads us to something even more profound: the increasingly recognized connection between creatine, overall mood, anxiety reduction, and even alleviation of depressive symptoms. This represents truly cutting-edge territory, and it's a field that researchers are only just beginning to comprehensively understand. But what we are powerfully learning is that the intricate experiences of depression and anxiety may not be solely about imbalances in neurotransmitters like serotonin or dopamine. They may also be profoundly about energy, and more specifically about the fundamental metabolic state of your precious brain. Pause and consider this. Your brain requires a constant, highly reliable supply of energy to function optimally. When that crucial energy supply is disrupted, when your mitochondria aren't efficiently producing ATP, when oxidative stress is progressively damaging vital cells, when chronic inflammation is interfering with crucial neural signaling, your brain inevitably struggles. And that struggle can distinctly manifest as a persistent low mood, pervasive anxiety, debilitating difficulty concentrating, and a general overwhelming sensation of being perpetually stuck or completely overwhelmed. Scientists have begun employing advanced imaging techniques such as magnetic resonance spectroscopy to actually measure creatine levels in various vital parts of the brain. And what they have uncovered is truly striking. When creatine levels are observed to be low in the prefrontal cortex, the specific area largely responsible for crucial planning, intelligent decision-making, and sensitive emotional regulation, individuals are significantly more likely to experience symptoms associated with depression. Now, this is not to imply that creatine is a guaranteed cure for clinical depression or severe anxiety. These are undeniably complex conditions that frequently necessitate professional medical treatment, targeted therapy, prescribed medication, or a strategic combination of these approaches. However, what this groundbreaking research does strongly suggest is that for some individuals, particularly those contending with low-grade, persistent feelings of sadness, chronic stress, or pervasive worry, improving the metabolic health of the brain through consistent creatine supplementation might offer very real, tangible relief. It's akin to providing your brain with the exact, precise fuel it desperately needs to operate at its absolute best, to process challenging emotions more effectively, and to bounce back from the relentless onslaught of stress with increased swiftness and resilience. And frankly, when you consider all the proactive measures we often undertake to consciously maintain our mental health, meditation practices, regular exercise, vibrant social connections, deeply nourishing nutrition, integrating creatine into that robust toolkit simply makes profound scientific sense. It is unequivocally safe, remarkably affordable, and backed by a mountainous body of solid empirical science. So, if you've been feeling subtly off, if your mood hasn't quite been its usual self, or if you simply wish to provide your brain with every conceivable advantage it can have, creatine is most definitely worth serious consideration. But creatine's widespread influence doesn't cease at your muscles and your brain. It extends even further, penetrating into vital systems and fundamental functions that most of us seldom even ponder. Let's talk, for instance, about your bones. For many years, people logically assumed that creatine might positively impact bone density in much the same way it strengthens muscle tissue. The initial logic seemed straightforward. Stronger muscles would pull harder on bones, thereby stimulating beneficial bone growth. However, when meticulous researchers actually put this hypothesis to the test, they uncovered something quite unexpected and far more nuanced. A significant study from 2024 specifically focused on bone health in individuals taking creatine. And here's what they precisely discovered. Creatine did not, in fact, directly increase bone density in the traditional sense, which initially disappointed some who quickly concluded it offered no benefit to bones. But they rushed to that conclusion far too prematurely. What the researchers genuinely found was even more profoundly interesting. Creatine actively influenced the bone cells themselves, the osteoblasts and osteoclasts, to more intelligently remodel and restructure the bone, particularly evident in the femur, your thigh bone, one of the largest and most critical bones in your entire body. This nuanced remodeling didn't merely make the bones denser. Critically, it made them demonstrably more fracture-resistant. It made them, if you will, structurally smarter and more adaptable. It empowered the bones to much better handle the significant mechanical load during exercise, which in turn triggered even further beneficial adaptation and inherent strengthening over time. So, rather than simply packing more calcium into an existing structure, creatine was helping the bone cells respond with greater intelligence and precision to the stresses you imposed upon them, building a type of strength that was inherently functional and dynamically robust. Why is this critical? Because as we progress through our years, bone fractures, especially debilitating hip fractures, stand as one of the leading causes of profound disability and devastating loss of independence. If creatine can genuinely help render your bones more resilient, more intrinsically capable of withstanding a sudden fall or an unexpected stumble, that represents an absolutely monumental benefit. It's not just about actively preventing a painful break, it's fundamentally about safeguarding your freedom of movement, upholding your cherished confidence, and preserving your invaluable ability to navigate the world without constant underlying fear. And then there's your indispensable immune system. This is another area where the scientific research is still enthusiastically emerging, but what we are consistently observing is genuinely exhilarating. Your crucial immune cells, such as neutrophils, a specific type of white blood cell that tirelessly hunts down harmful bacteria and other insidious pathogens, absolutely require ATP to effectively function. That might appear obvious when you reflect upon it, but for a considerable period, very few actively studied whether creatine could genuinely improve immune function by robustly boosting cellular energy, but now we unequivocally know that it can. A pioneering pilot study from just a couple of years ago conclusively found that creatine supplementation significantly increased ATP production directly within neutrophils, thereby rendering them much more effective at actively attacking and decisively destroying harmful bacteria. It also markedly reduced pro-inflammatory mediators throughout the entire body, which means your immune system wasn't just made stronger, it was simultaneously made more strategically balanced. It gained the capacity to effectively fight off threats without inadvertently generating excessive inflammation that could, in turn, damage your own healthy tissues. Again, this is not to imply that creatine will miraculously prevent you from ever getting sick, but it powerfully suggests that it can empower your body to respond far more effectively when you inevitably encounter a virus, a bacterial infection, or any other significant physiological stressor. And in a world where infections can pose a particularly dangerous threat to older adults, any safe, evidence-based tool that actively supports and enhances immune resilience is profoundly worth paying very close attention to. So, let's take a thoughtful moment here and genuinely appreciate the remarkably far-reaching effects of creatine. We've extensively covered muscle growth, beneficial fat loss, significant strength gains, accelerated recovery from activity, dramatically enhanced brain function, improved mood stability, fortified bone health, and a demonstrably more effective immune system. All of these profound advantages stem from one remarkably simple, universally inexpensive powder that you can readily purchase at almost any health store. But I understand what some of you might be cautiously thinking. You've likely heard various stories. You've perhaps seen sensational headlines. Maybe a well-meaning friend incorrectly told you that creatine causes premature hair loss, or that it dangerously damages your kidneys, or that it negatively interferes with your liver function. So, let's definitively address these pervasive myths, because this is where a vast amount of unnecessary fear and genuine confusion originates. And I want to put those understandable concerns to absolute rest, once and for all. First, the myth of hair loss. This particular notion has been circulating for many years, and it primarily stems from one very small small, isolated study where researchers theorized they observed an increase in a specific hormone called DHT, dihydrotestosterone, which is indeed associated with male pattern baldness. However, and this is absolutely critical, multiple, larger, and far more rigorous studies have since meticulously examined this precise question, and they have found absolutely no connection whatsoever. One particular randomized controlled trial, spanning approximately 12 weeks, carefully measured DHT levels, testosterone levels, the DHT to testosterone ratios, and even directly scrutinized hair follicles and their density. The conclusive result? Zero change. No hair loss, no thinning, absolutely nothing to indicate a link. So, if you've been thoughtfully avoiding creatine because you're concerned about your hair, you can confidently lay that particular fear to rest. It is simply not supported by any credible scientific evidence. Next, let's tackle kidney health. This is a significant concern for many, largely because creatine does naturally increase a compound in your blood called creatinine, which is indeed a harmless byproduct of creatine metabolism. Doctors often utilize creatinine levels as one indicator to assess kidney function. So, when individuals see their creatinine levels naturally elevate after commencing creatine supplementation, it's understandable that they might experience a moment of panic. But here's what the extensive research unequivocally shows. That increase is a perfectly normal and harmless physiological response to supplementation. It absolutely does not indicate kidney damage or undue stress on the kidneys. In fact, numerous studies rigorously examining individuals who consistently take even very high doses of creatine, well beyond the typical recommended range, have found absolutely no evidence of harm to the kidneys in healthy individuals. Now, if you already have a pre-existing kidney disease or compromised kidney function, that is indeed a different and serious story. In such cases, you should absolutely consult with your doctor before taking creatine or any new supplement. But for the vast majority of healthy people, creatine is demonstrably and completely safe for your kidneys. What about the liver? There was a single, solitary rat study, yes, a study on rats, where they administered an absurdly high dose of creatine to the animals, a dose far, far beyond anything a human would ever reasonably take. And crucially, they had the animals perform no exercise whatsoever. In that very specific, highly unrealistic scenario, they observed some minor changes in liver enzymes. People unfortunately latched onto that single anomaly and widely misinterpreted it. But when you examine the extensive human data, literally hundreds of studies involving thousands of participants with doses ranging from low to very high, there is simply no evidence whatsoever of liver damage or dysfunction. You would realistically have to consume truly extreme amounts, far exceeding any reasonable dose, to even begin to approach the levels used in that one rat study. So, no, creatine does not harm your liver. Now, what about the commonly heard concerns regarding muscle cramping and dehydration? This is one myth that does possess a slight grain of plausibility. Some individuals do occasionally report muscle cramps or a feeling of dehydration when they first start taking creatine. But here's the vital key. It's not the creatine itself that is the direct cause of the problem. It is almost always a result of inadequate overall hydration or pre-existing low electrolyte levels. Remember, creatine works by gently pulling water into your muscle cells. If you're simply not drinking enough water throughout your day, or if your critical sodium and potassium levels are already low, that natural physiological process can indeed temporarily disrupt your body's delicate fluid balance and lead to cramps. The straightforward solution? Simple. Drink plenty of water consistently throughout the entire day. Take your creatine with that beneficial pinch of salt or a high-quality electrolyte drink, and ensure you are generally consuming enough essential minerals in your diet. When you diligently implement these simple steps, the issues of cramping and dehydration almost invariably disappear entirely. So, let's succinctly recap our myth-busting efforts. No hair loss, no kidney damage for healthy individuals, no liver issues, and any cramping is easily and proactively preventable. Creatine truly stands as one of the most extensively studied, most thoroughly tested, and undeniably safest supplements currently in existence. Thousands of rigorous studies conducted over many decades have repeatedly confirmed this, time and time again. You can confidently take it with unwavering assurance. Alright, let's now bring all this valuable information together into a practical, actionable framework. How should you effectively use creatine? What's the smart, efficient, and sustainable approach to seamlessly integrate this powerful tool into your daily routine, especially if you're happily navigating life over 60? First, the form. Unquestionably, stick with creatine monohydrate. It is the undisputed gold standard. Having been tested more than any other form, it is the most economically affordable, and it consistently delivers results. Do not allow yourself to be distracted or misled by sophisticated marketing tactics peddling micronized creatine. buffered creatine, or any other flashy variation. Save your precious money and choose what is proven. Second, the amount. For general health maintenance, preserving existing muscle, and fostering overall vitality, aim for a daily dose somewhere between 5 and 7 grams. If your focus is particularly honed in on maximizing brain health benefits, consider prudently increasing that to around 8 to 10 grams. If you are older, remain very physically active, or are actively working to counteract significant muscle loss, a dose of 10 to 15 grams might be considerably more appropriate and beneficial. And if you are navigating a temporary period of intense physical or mental demand, perhaps an exceptionally rigorous exercise regimen, a phase of poor sleep, or heightened stress, you can temporarily elevate your dose to 15 or even 20 grams for approximately a week or so, then naturally return to your consistent maintenance level. Third, and perhaps most critically, consistency. This is the cornerstone of creatine's effectiveness. Creatine works by progressively building up its vital stores within your muscles and brain over an extended period. You are not taking it for an immediate, short-term energy surge akin to caffeine. Instead, you are taking it diligently every single day to ensure those essential stores remain consistently full so that whenever your body demands that rapid burst of ATP, it is readily and reliably available. So, find a moment that seamlessly fits into your schedule, perhaps morning with breakfast, afternoon with a nourishing snack, or evening with dinner, and resolutely stick with it. Fourth, for optimal absorption, always take your creatine with a small, strategic pinch of salt or a trusted electrolyte supplement. This simple addition significantly enhances the sodium-dependent transport mechanism, efficiently shuttling creatine into your cells and critically reducing the risk of water retention or any uncomfortable puffiness. You can also pair it with a small amount of carbohydrate, such as a piece of fruit or a splash of juice, which can further aid absorption, although this is generally less critical than the sodium component. Fifth, regarding duration, creatine has been rigorously proven safe for indefinite long-term use. We are talking about years of consistent consumption. There is absolutely no scientific necessity to cycle on and off, nor any requirement to take periodic breaks. Simply integrate it as a consistent part of your daily health routine, much like you would a multivitamin or fish oil. And if your curiosity is piqued by GAA, that precursor compound I mentioned earlier, actively seek out supplements that thoughtfully combine GAA with creatine, especially if your primary wellness objective is robust cognitive support. The research on this powerful combination is still dynamically emerging, but it undeniably looks promising for significantly enhancing brain-related benefits. Now let's take a panoramic view for a moment and reflect on why all of this information truly matters on a much deeper, more personal level. Because yes, we've extensively covered a wealth of scientific data, a multitude of facts, and an abundance of practical, actionable tips. But ultimately, this isn't merely about abstract numbers on a scale or the quantifiable weights you can lift in a gym. It's profoundly about how you genuinely feel. It's about the tangible abilities you retain and gain. It's about passionately living the vibrant, fulfilling life you wholeheartedly desire. Consider this: your precious muscle mass stands as one of the strongest and most reliable predictors of overall longevity. The more muscle you consciously preserve and build, the better your fundamental metabolic health, the significantly lower your risk of developing chronic diseases, and the longer you are unequivocally likely to live a truly independent life, full of self-sufficiency. Your cognitive resilience is the absolute key to maintaining rich, meaningful relationships, staying dynamically engaged with the world, and continually learning and growing as an individual. And insidious, chronic inflammation lies at the very root of an overwhelming number of age-related conditions: heart disease, diabetes, debilitating arthritis, and even forms of dementia. Creatine remarkably works at the profound intersection of all three of these vital pillars of health. It actively builds and preserves muscle, it powerfully fuels your brain, and it effectively reduces inflammation. It is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a magical pill. There is simply no such thing. But it is an extraordinarily powerful, thoroughly evidence-backed tool that can genuinely help you remain strong, stay incredibly sharp, and remain vibrantly active for many decades to come. And here's the most important truth I want you to internalize: you possess far more control over your aging journey than you might presently realize. Aging does not inherently mean surrendering, succumbing to a gradual slowdown, or simply accepting decline as an inevitable fate. Yes, our bodies will gracefully change. Yes, we will undoubtedly face new, unique challenges. But with the thoughtful application of the right strategies, optimal nutrition, consistent and joyful movement, deeply restorative sleep, effective stress management, and intelligent supplementation like creatine, you can undeniably age with strength, profound dignity, and an enduring vitality that allows you to fully embrace every single moment. I have personally dedicated years to voraciously reading scientific research, extensively conversing with leading experts, conscientiously experimenting on myself, and passionately sharing everything I learn with individuals just like you. And if there is one single supplement I would wholeheartedly recommend to almost everyone over 60, it is, without a shadow of a doubt, creatine. The evidence supporting its benefits is truly overwhelming. Its safety profile is absolutely exemplary. Its profound benefits touch nearly every vital system in your magnificent body, and its cost is remarkably minimal, making it accessible to virtually all. So, here's what I sincerely encourage you to do right now. If this comprehensive information has proven valuable to you, if it has brought you a new sense of clarity, if it has definitively answered long-standing questions or perhaps ignited exciting new possibilities for how you consciously approach your health, please take a brief moment right now and thoughtfully like this video. That simple, genuine action profoundly helps more individuals discover this critical information, and it unequivocally signals to me that the work I am doing truly matters to you. Next, please actively subscribe to this channel so you absolutely don't miss any future videos where we continue to dive deep into science-backed strategies for optimal longevity, enduring strength, and living a truly well-lived life at any age. I am here for you every single week, meticulously bringing you the very latest research, breaking it down into practical, immediately actionable insights, and expertly cutting through the overwhelming noise and pervasive confusion that regrettably fills so much of the internet. And finally, I genuinely want to hear directly from you. Please drop a comment below and tell me 2 specific things: your current age and what your single biggest fitness or health goal is for the upcoming year. Perhaps you aspire to build more functional strength so you can joyfully hike challenging trails with your family. Maybe you deeply desire to feel less fatigued and significantly more mentally sharp and clear. Or perhaps you aim to safely lose some weight and move through your days with greater ease and fluidity. Whatever it is, please courageously share it. Your personal story might very well inspire someone else who is watching right now, silently wondering if they too can achieve their aspirations. And I personally read every single comment. I am genuinely curious about your unique journey and precisely how I can further assist you. Remember, creatine actively builds muscle. It significantly aids in burning fat. It effectively reduces inflammation throughout your system. It powerfully fuels your brain, it fortifies your bones and bolsters your immune health, and most importantly, it is both simple to use and remarkably affordable. This isn't some exclusive, overly expensive, or complex protocol reserved for an elite few. It is genuinely accessible to almost everyone who chooses to take that crucial first step. We've covered a vast amount of ground today, from the intricate mechanisms of how creatine actually works to its profound muscle-building and strength-enhancing benefits, to its remarkable brain-boosting and whole-body effects, and finally, to definitively busting the persistent myths that have unfortunately held so many people back for far too long. My heartfelt hope is that you walk away from this comprehensive video armed with newfound confidence, absolute clarity, and a practical, actionable plan that you can begin implementing today. So, go ahead and confidently acquire some creatine monohydrate. Start with a conservative yet effective 5 to 7 grams daily. Consistently take it with that small, beneficial pinch of salt. Be unwaveringly consistent. Give it a few honest weeks and then pay very close attention to how you truly feel, how your workouts naturally progress, how your overall energy levels dramatically change, and how your mind feels notably sharper, clearer, and more resilient than before. I am confident you are going to be absolutely amazed by the results. Thank you for generously spending this valuable time with me. Thank you for caring deeply enough about your personal health to actively seek out real, evidence-based information, to intelligently question the unfounded myths, and to decisively take empowered action. You are not just simply watching a video, you are actively investing in yourself, and that, without question, is the single most important investment you could ever possibly make. I will enthusiastically see you in the next video. Stay strong, remain endlessly curious, and keep purposefully moving forward on your incredible journey.